The overall level of difficulty of this paper, I would consider would be easy to moderate. The only set which was the difficult one and which was actually quite difficult was the first set, which consisted of the change in the prices of the three houses. It was not easy to figure out all the cases, and the questions asked were also very tricky ones. So the first set, which was DI based LR, actually it was not a DI. It's going to be considered as difficult. The next one, the combination one, where we had to figure out at which time the candidates went for the interview, from which branch they are. It was an easy to moderate. The only thing was that there were certain cell values that we couldn't fill eventually. That's why the questions were conditional questions. So that may give you a fake idea that the set is going to be a difficult one, but it was not. The matrix missing data, the third set, about Raja Mantri Chor Sipahi combination, it was actually pretty easy set. It was more like a Sudoku question. But it was little lengthy because we had 10 games and we have to consider all of that. So I will keep it more towards easy level difficulty rather than moderate. And the last set theory, was pretty easy. Once you figure out uh, how many people surveyed liked Mughlai cuisine or Italian or Chinese, the questions were also very straightforward and they were very easy to solve. So I'll consider the last set as easy. So overall, it's easy to moderate. Anyone could have solved any two questions, any two sets. One among these six and the last set could have been easily solved. So in case you guys did not solve set theory, so please work on set theory because such questions are very straightforward. They are pretty easy. So good attempts, I would say, for this particular paper would be anything 10 and above questions. And if somebody, people who are doing well in LRDI, they could have easily solved 16 questions, as in the first three sets, the last three sets, pretty easily. So this was achievable. This was very much doable. Good marks, I would consider it to be somewhere in the range of 25 to 35. It's very much achievable. And the overall section was a nice one. This is very similar to how you can expect in this year's CAT when Bangalore is going to set the paper. Read the given passage carefully and answer the questions that follow. In 2007, Dhruv bought three houses worth rupees 1 crore, rupees 1.2 crores, and rupees 1.5 crores. In 2012, 17, and 22, that is at an interval of 5 years, right? The cost of each house changed by rupees 20 lakhs, rupees 30 lakhs, and rupees 50 lakhs, respectively. In any of the given years, the cost of none of the houses went below rupees 1 crore. If allowed, he could have sold any property only in the given 3 years, 2012, 17, and 22. Okay. And then we have questions related to this set. So we are supposed to use the data from here. So instead of dealing with crores and lakhs, let's change this 1 crore to 100 lakhs and 120 lakhs and 150 lakhs. And then we will have a zero, which is common. So I'm going to write 1 crore as, instead of 100 lakhs, it's 10 lakhs, 12, 15, and these values as 2, 3, and 5. Okay. So we are removing the word lakhs and 1 0, which is throughout common. Okay, so we should have written 100 lakhs, 120 lakhs, and 150 lakhs. So removing 0 from there so that the change is also being removed. Okay, so since we have three houses, so let's call house 1. House 1 in 2007, it was at a price of 10. So let's write 10 here. And then it changed by 2 lakhs. So it became 12. It can also reduce and become 8, but 8 would mean 80 lakhs. It is given that none of the houses went below rupees 1 crore. 1 crore here would mean it did not go below 10, right? 1 crore is 100 lakhs, so we can again get rid of a zero. It's all relative, right? Okay. So this is 2012. In 2017, it changed by 3. So if it changes by 3, it can add, we can add 3 over here. If we subtract 3, it will become 9, which will be less than 10. So that cannot be done. And in the next change from 17 to 22, there was a change of 5. So if we add 5, this one will become 20. And if I reduce 5, this is going to become 10. So these are the prices of house H1 in the year 2012, 2017, 2000 and it starts from 2007. So these are the prices in the year 2007, 2012, 2017, and 2022. Okay, let's move to the next house. Let's say the next house is H2. So it started with 12. Now there is going to be a change of 2. So we can add 2 as well as we can subtract 2 so that it becomes 14 and 10. Next, there is a change of 3. If there is a change of 3, it can increase by 3. It can decrease by 3. So it can become 17 or 11. And in the case of 10, it can only increase by 3. So it becomes 13. Because if we decrease it by 3, it will become less than 10, which it is not allowed. Right? Okay, so I'm erasing this part here so that we'll have space. Okay, what happens in the next time? There is a change of 5 lakh, right? It says change. It means it can increase or decrease, just like house 1. So if we increase it by 5, it becomes 22. If we decrease it by 5, it becomes 12. 11, if we increase it by 5, it becomes 16. If we decrease it by 5, it becomes less than that. So we can't decrease it. Next, if we increase 13 by 5, it becomes 18. If we decrease 13 by 5, it becomes less than 10. So we can't do that. These are the prices of the houses in 2017, 2012, 2017, and 2022. Let's move to house 3 now. House 3, it started with 1.5 crores, 150 lakhs, or simply 15. So there is going to be a change of 2. Both plus and minus is allowed. So it becomes 17 and 13. Now this 17 may change by plus 3 and minus 3. Accordingly, 3 may change by plus 3 and minus 3 is also allowed. So 17 plus 3 will become 20. 17 minus 3 will become 14. 13 plus 3 is 16. 13 minus 3 is 10. And then there is a change of 5. So it becomes 25. It can reduce by 5 also, very much possible. 14, it can only increase by 5 because if we reduce it by 5, it will become less. 16, if we increase it by 5, it becomes 21. We are allowed to reduce it by 5. It's very much possible. And 10, we can only increase it by 5. We can't decrease because it will become less than 10. So these are the values or the values of the houses in the year 2007, 2012, 2017, and 2022. So this is all we need. So I'm going to circle the prices of the houses so that it becomes easier to keep track or look at them, because the change is also visible. So there are a lot of numbers otherwise. Okay, now let's move over to the question. First question, it is known that Dhruv sold the 3 houses in 2022. He earned no profit, nor did he incur any loss. What could have been his maximum overall percentage of profit if he had sold any of the houses in any year? Well, Dhruv sold all 3 houses in 2022. So that means the sum of the prices in 2022 for the three houses must be same as the sum of the prices of the houses in the year 2007. So in the year 2007, the sum of the prices for house 1, house 2, and house 3 were 10, 12, and 15, which means total was 37. So in the year 2022, the total, as in the sum of the prices of the three houses, should be 37 again. So if it's going to be 37, the possibilities could be that if house 1 is sold at 20, then that means there is an increase of 10. So we need to decrease it by 10 for the other two houses. Well, 12 cannot go below 10, 15 cannot go below 10. So that means we cannot actually reduce it by 10 overall. So we are pretty sure that the house was not sold, house 1 was not sold for 20, it was sold just for 10. So if it was sold for just for 10, so this is the trajectory that it must have followed. Okay. Now, this tells us that there is no change in the price of house 1, which leads us to this conclusion that whatever change in the price for house 2 and house 3 will happen, it should nullify each other. Which means if house 2 was 5 more, house 3 was 5 less. If house 2 was 2 more, house 3 was 2 less, or vice versa. So if we take house 2 to be 22, which is 10 ahead, then house 3 cannot be 10 less, because then it will reduce by less than, it will become less than 10. So 22 is not possible. Next, if house 2 was sold at 12, that means house 3 was sold as the same rate. So house at 12 is a possibility, and 15 is going to be a possibility. That means the prices remain same throughout. The other possibility could be if house 1 was 10 and if house 2 was 16, that means 4 more, then house 3 should be 4 less. That means it could be 11. So we can take 16. This is the next possibility. And house 3 could be 11. So an increase of 4 over house 2 and a decrease of 4 over house 3. Sum should be 37. Next, if house 2 increases by 6 from 12, if it becomes 18, then house 3 should decrease by 6, which will make it reduce below 10. So that's not possible. So that means these are the only two possibilities we can have at which the three houses were sold in the year 2022. Well, if we look the first case, let's say this is the first case, this is the second case. So if you look at the first case, so the overall profit percentage that we can maximize it if this was the trajectory that it followed for house 2. So house 2, among the given numbers, the maximum price is 17, right? So house 1, it was sold for 15. That is the maximum we can have. House 2, it was sold for 17. They both were sold in the year 2017. And house 3, the trajectory that it's going to follow is going to be this, or the trajectory it's going to follow is going to be this. So the maximum value in house 3 is 20 that we see. So the total price at which he could have sold the three houses, which is for the year 2017, this could be 40, 52. So the profit percentage in this case is going to be 37 was the cost, 52 is the selling price. So this is an increase of 15, right, over 37. Now 15 over 37 is going to be, had this been 18 over 37, this would have been approximately 15%, 50%. So this is less than 50%. Okay, let's look at the second scenario. In the second scenario, if it was 10 for house 1, the maximum price at which it could be sold was 15. For house 2, if it was 16, then the trajectory that it is going to follow is going to be 16, 11, 14, 12. So it will remain 16. If we look at house 3, if it was sold for 11, then the trajectory it's going to follow is 11, 16, 13, and 15. The largest value among these four is 16 again. So this is a total of 47. So obviously the sales is lower in second case than in the first case. So its profit percentage is definitely going to be smaller. So this is going to be a mere 10 over 37, which is going to be definitely less than the first case. So it should be less than 50%. And is it going to be like 30% or 40%? So what we can do is we can calculate 15 by 40, and 15 by 40 is 3 upon 8, which is 37.5%. So 15 over 37 should be definitely more than this, right? Because denominator has reduced. So option B makes sense out of the four given options. Second question. Dhruv incurred a loss when he sold the 3 houses in 2017. Had he waited to sell them in 2022, what is the maximum overall percentage profit he could have earned? So if he sold in 2017, so house one was definitely sold at 15. This is the only possibility. So if you look at the price or the profit at which house one was sold, so there was an increase of 5. So there was definitely a profit from here. So if we want overall loss, then house 2 and house 3 should definitely decrease by more than 5. So in 2017, if it is sold for 17, then there will be another profit of 5, which house 3 will never be able to compensate. Now, this 12, as in house 2, it can be sold from 12 to 11, because if house 2 is sold for 13, so there is another profit of 1, overall profit will become 6, and house 3 cannot compensate 6 less, because then the price of house 3 will reduce below 10. So the only possibility is going to be 11 for house 2. So it was sold at 11. So this is a loss of 1. So we need a loss of 4 when it comes to house 3. So loss of 4 would mean from 15, it should be 11 or less. So the only possibility is if there is a reduction of 5. So it was sold at 10 in 2017. So that the overall, as in the sum is going to be 36, and the total cost was 37, right? So it's a loss. So the cost was 37, and this is the sales, which is 36. So there is a loss. Now, if we and had he waited to sell them in 2022, what is the maximum overall profit percentage? So if it was 15 for house 1, he can go to either case. We need to maximize the profit, so we will make sure that he sells it at 20. If we look at house 2, it can only follow the trajectory, because if it was 11, it can only become 16. We cannot move to 17 or 13, right? So it was sold for 16. That's the maximum we can have. And when we look at house 3, it can only move to 15 in the year 2022. So the total we are going to have over is going to be 51. So he bought those houses for 37. He sold them at 51. So there is a profit of 14 over 37. Now, 14 over 37 is going to be approximately what percentage? So 10% of 37 is 3.7. We need to reach up to 14. So we can say 20% of 37 is going to be 7.4. And if we take 40% of 37, this is going to be 14.8. But we need a value less than 14.8. So my answer should be definitely less than 40% and very close to it. Only option B makes sense. Question number 3. Dhruv incurred a loss of 18.91% when he sold all 3 houses, not necessarily in the same year. When did he sell the house which he bought for rupees 1.5 crores? Okay. Now we know that the cost is 37 lakhs. And if he, sorry, not 37 lakhs, it's 3.7 crores, 370 lakhs. And the loss that he incurred is given as 18.91%. So if we calculate 18.91% of 37, we will get the sales as in the total price at which he sold all the three houses together. If you solve this, this is going to be approximately 7. Because 20% would have been 7.4, this is going to be 7. So since this is the closest we can get, so we are like, since all the values are integral, we can say that the loss was 7. So this is not sales, actually, this is the loss. Okay, once we have got the loss, we are pretty sure that he must have, whatever the changes is going to happen in the three houses, there should be a decrease of 7 overall. As in, he sold the three houses at an overall price of 30. So this was 10 for house 1, 12, and 15. So if you look at house 1, house 2, and house 3, the year 2007, it was bought at 10, 12, and 15. So we need to know the year wherein the houses sold will eventually become 30, the sum. And it should be the same year because all the three houses were sold in the same year. So if you look at 2012, it's going to be 12, 14, 17, 12, 14, 13, 12, 10, 13. None of these is going to give us a sum of 30. See, 12 plus 14 is 26 already. 12 plus 10 is 22 already. We can't have 8 further. So this is definitely not 2012. Okay. The next option is 2015. Okay, I was surprised. 2015 is definitely not the answer. 2017. So 2017, it was definitely 15 for house 1, right? We're looking at 2015. Sorry, we're looking at 2017. And so there is a change of 5 overall. And we need a loss of 7 from both of these. So this is going to happen if we reduce it further. So how much can we reduce it by? So house 2 can reduce and it can become 11. So this is a decrease of 1. And house 3 can reduce and become 10. So this is a reduction of 5. Is it going to give us a 30? No, this is going to give us a 36. Okay, let's try 2022. So in 2022 now, so this is 7. And when did he sell the house which he bought for rupees 1.5 crores? Okay, it says not necessarily in the same year. So there was a mistake. Okay, so if we want the sum of the values or the selling price of the three houses to be 30, so we can say that each house was sold for 10 because that's the minimum we can get, right? 10, 10, and 10. That's the best we can do because none of the values is going to be less than 10 and 30 if we need. So the minimum, even if we take for 10, 10, 10, that's the only possibility. So house 1 was sold for 10. That means it was sold in the year 2022. House 2 was sold for 10. That means this was, sorry, 12. House 2 was also sold in the year 2012. And house 3 was sold in the year 2017. So the question is, when did he sell the house which he bought for rupees 1.5 crores? That is 15 wala, third house. So he sold that in the year 2017. So B option makes sense. Fourth question. In how many ways can Dhruv sell his three houses over the years to break even? Now, for the break even, Dhruv must sell his three houses for precisely 37 back, right? Because the total cost is 10 plus 12 plus 15. So the total sales should also be 37. sum of the three numbers. Okay. Now, as we can see that for house 2, for every year, the values are unique and there is no repetition, right? 14 is never found again, 10 is never found again, 17 is never found again, 11 is never found again, 30. As in all these prices for house 2 from 2012 onwards, they are unique. Similarly, for house 3, all the prices are unique. And similarly, for house 1, all the prices are unique. We will not see any repetition of any of the values, right? So we don't have to worry about the combination, as in if there was a repetition, we can say that a particular house was sold in a particular year as well as in the other year because the prices were same, but that's not going to happen, right? Also, as we can see that the price of house 1, it never decreased. It was 10 and it remained at least 10. Right? So if there is a change in the price of house 1, it will be definitely an increase. If you look at house 2, it can decrease, it can become 10 or 11, it can remain constant at 12, or it may increase. If you look at house 3, it was 15 initially, it may decrease to 13, 10, 11, 14, or it may remain same as 15, or it may increase. So all the three possibilities are true for house 2, house 1, house 2, and house 3. So let's start with the combinations wherein we will keep the price of house 1 consistent. So we will make sure that house 1 price it did not change, it remained 10. That tells us that whatever increase or decrease we will have from house 2 and house 3, they should compensate each other. So let's say house 2 decreased by 10. If house 2 decreased by 10, then house 1 should increase by, house 2 decreased by 2. That means house 3 should increase by 2. So 10, 10, 17 is one possibility, right? Okay. Next is if house 1 remained stationary at 10. So there is no change in the price of house 1. House 2, if it increased by 14, if it increased by 2 from 12 to 14, then house 3 should decrease by 2. So this will be 13. Okay. Now, if house 1 remained at 10, now if house 2 becomes 11, if it decreases by 1, then house 3 should increase by 1. So if we continue like this, then if house 2, it becomes 17, if there is an increase of 5, then house 3 should decrease by 5. Next possibility is if house 2 becomes 13, then house 3 will reduce, right, by 1. So it should become 14. So we are done with 14, 10, 17, 11, 13. So we are done with all the combinations of house 2 so far. Let's go to house 3. 12 cannot become 22 because if there is an increase of 10 in house 2, we need a decrease of 10 in house 3. That's never going to happen. 12 can remain 12, no problem with that. So 15 will remain 15 for house 3, no problem with that. Okay, 12 can become 16. There can be an increase of 4. Then 15 should decrease by 4, so it should become 11. 12, if it changes to 18, there is an increase of 6. So 15 cannot reduce by 6 because it will become less than that. So these are the cases wherein house 1 stayed stationary, it did not change. Let's change house 1 to 12 now, as in there is an increase of 2 in house 2. That means there should be an overall decrease of 2 from house 2 and house 3. So the first combination would be there is a decrease of 2 just from house 2. So just from house 2, we can have a decrease of 2 if it was 10. And there is no change from house 3. So it could be 15. Another possibility would be there is a decrease from house 3. So 15 should become 13. And there is no change in the price of house 2. So it should remain 12. 12 is very much possible. Next possibility is if house 1 increased by 2, house 2 and house 3, they should individually decrease by 1. So 12 can become 11, yes, and 15 can become 14, yes, this is also possible. Next is if house 1 increases by 2, then the overall change from house 2 and house 3 should be 2. Well, this can happen if house 2 increases by 5 and house 3 decreases by 3. Sorry, house 1 has increased by 2. So house 2, it decreased by 5, while house 3 increased by 3, so that there is an overall no change happening, right? And we can have the vice versa as well for these two, because the changes happened was only in multiples, not multiples, but exactly 2, 3, and 5 ka change hua tha, right? So we have to follow that. So if we go by that logic, so what we can do is we can say that, let's say house 2 increased by 3 further. So it became 15, but can it become 15? No, it can't become 15. Can it increase by 5? Yes, it can increase by 5. So house 3 should decrease by 3. Can it decrease by 3 overall? No, it can't decrease by 3. Okay. What about vice versa? House 2 decreases by 3? Yes, this is very much possible. No, house 3 cannot decrease by 3 because then it will reduce, it will go below 12, right? So we don't have any more possibility when house 1 was 12. We had only these 3 cases. Okay. Next scenario is, what if house 1 increases by 2 instead of 30 and 50? What if it say that house 2 increases by 2 as well and house 3 decreases by 4? That may be a possibility. Can we increase house 2 by 2? Yes, 12 can become 14. So there is an increase of 2 from both the houses. Can we decrease? Can we have a decrease of 4 from house 3? 15 should become 11. This is very much possible. Can we do the vice versa? No, because if we try to decrease house 2 by 4, it will go below 10, right? Do we have any more cases? We can have 30, 50. We can have 20, 40. We can't have, we did 10 and 10, right? Right. So all are taken care of. Next is, so we were done with house 1 ka 10, we were done with house 1 ka 12. Now, next is if house 1 becomes 15, so there is an increase of 5. So we need an overall decrease of 5 from both the houses together. What if house 2 decreases by 2 and house 3 decreases by 3? If house 3 decreases by 3, we need a 12, but we don't have a 12. Okay. What if house 2 decreases by only 1? If house 2 decreases by only 1, that means house 3 should decrease by 4. This is very much possible, right? So 15 should become 11, so that there is a decrease of 1 from house 2, decrease of 4 from house 3, overall 5 ka decrease. So far, how many have we got? Let's count. We have got 3, 3, 6, 3, 9, and 3, 12. So we have got so far 12. So I believe we can very much say that the answer can't be B, C, or D. Let's find out one more. Okay, what if there is an increase of 5 from house 1? What if there is an increase of, decrease of something from house 2? It can only go to 10 and 11, right? So if it is 10, so we need a decrease of 3. That's not going to happen from house 3. If it becomes 11, this is very much possible. What if house 2 did not change? So we need a decrease of 10 from house 3 alone. Sorry, decrease of 5 from house 3 alone. So 15 can become 10. So this is very much possible. So this is our 13th case then.